Good morning, friends. Hope you are doing well. It is Monday morning. We're out at the farm and we need to fertilize first. Then we're going to flip the larkspur bed for some beautiful zinnia seedlings. But before we do that, happy Pride Month, everyone. To all of my LGBTQIA plus beautiful friends and family, I love you. I see you. I support you. I'll fight for you. And let's just celebrate. Celebrate who you are. So happy you are here. Okay, so I need to get my backpack sprayer on. We're gonna give everybody a dose of fertilizer, foliar feed, and then we will, like I said, pull up the larkspur. It's pretty much done, and plant this new tray of zinnia seedlings, which looks beautiful. And maybe do a quick tour to see how things are going. It looks like things are blooming, which is great. I just got an order yesterday. I need to get a couple of big buckets of flowers by Thursday. So we have stuff to harvest, which is always very exciting. Okay, let me get my backpack sprayer set up. We'll go ahead and get this done, and then we'll start on our next project. Okay, gang, it is time. Now, I know you're thinking, why would you rip this out? There's still plenty of flowers. Well, first of all, a lot of them are actually short stems because they are secondary stems. And third, one of the hardest things about flower farming is knowing when to pull a crop because you have something new to put in. So you can't wait until every single last thing is bloomed out. Could I harvest these? Yes, but I don't have any place for them right now. So the person who's bought buckets from me, that's on Thursday, and these won't still look good until then. So we're gonna go ahead and pull them out. The compost bin is literally right there. So I'm just gonna pull them out. Normally, especially in the garden at home, I like to cut things off at the base and let them decompose. I'm not going to do that in this case. I'm going to pull the whole plant, partly because larkspur is actually a poisonous plant, but the other reason is because we've been having so many drainage issues in the farm with compacted soil. This is a raised bed. I want to go ahead and pull all this. I will rake it lightly on the surface, add a bunch of fertilizer, and then we'll put our zinnias in. I want to give these zinnias the best chance at succeeding. So all I need to do is come through here and pull, and these root balls are pretty big. These went in as plugs in maybe December or January. Anyway, yeah, it's been great. I will absolutely grow more larkspur again, but the ones that got eaten, we would have had an entire 40-foot bed of these had they not been eaten by something. So I'm hoping that next year I can avoid that and have way more of these and in different colors. There's a couple of specialty ones I want to grow that I'll start from seed. All right, let me get all these pulled, and then we will loosen up the soil a little bit, although it looks pretty good. We'll add a whole bunch of fertilizer to each row, and then we'll get our zinnias transplanted. Okay, so that project's done and they look great. These are really healthy seedlings. I've been really happy with the zinnia seedlings so far this year. The ones I've grown from seed in the greenhouse have done amazing. So I watered them in. Now they're on irrigation, but it won't come on until tomorrow morning. So I went ahead and used my watering can and got these guys watered in. Now this is almost all of them. So that was a tray of 72. I don't know how many were left. I put the rest of them in next to the feverfew where we had an open section. But yeah, these look great and they're going to grow fast. So this fall, when we go to flip beds, this bed will get a whole bunch more compost because as you can see, the soil is settling. And then I'm going to put ranunculus in here. It is a raised bed. It gets amazing drainage. Hope you might have been able to see how fluffy it was when I was breaking it up. So we'll put ranunculus in here. They'll actually finally do well. They've been dying every year because they just rot in those beds down there that are just terrible drainage. Speaking of those beds, the other thing I'm considering doing, instead of just putting, more gypsum and more compost on top, I think I'm going to dig out the crappy soil. So in the beds that I still haven't amended yet, there's two that I've completely, added extra soil and they're doing well. Those are the first two as you walk in. But the rest of the beds, I think I'm going to, the two Lisianthus ones, the soil in those is so low that when the Lisianthus come out, and I'm not gonna overwinter them this year so that I can do this, pull them all out, and then we will top those beds up. That means they'll probably get 3 to 4 inches of compost, and that will work just fine. But the other beds in that field, so that will be 6 other beds. Those I think I'm literally going to take a shovel and chunk out all the really hard compacted soil, the clay that was the native soil, chunk that out. I mean, it's in gopher cages, these beds. Chunk all that out and put in just quality compost. The first couple of years I grew at our house on bare ground that we had stripped from weeds and stuff. And everything did amazing. And I think that was because I started, they weren't wooden raised beds. I didn't build frames around them, but I put like 8 inches of compost as the beds, raised in the ground. And I think that was why everything grew so well. It didn't have to deal with the clay native soil until much, much later, many, many years later. Now things grow great there because it's been 7 years of adding compost every single year. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So along with that, let's go ahead and look at how things are doing out here. We'll do a quick early June farm tour, and then that's going to be it for me. I have an appointment this afternoon and not a whole lot of time to get this video edited and up for you guys before I need to be there. So we've just looked at the zinnia bed. This is the dahlia bed, and you guys, I am beyond thrilled. So if you've been here for a while, you'll know that for the last 2 years, this bed has never produced dahlias. They've always rotted out. Again, drainage. So what we did this year is I had already last year dug the whole bed out and put gopher wire in and then refilled it with the soil that was in there. So it was native soil and a little bit of bagged soil. This year, what we did was we built this frame and added, and it's only a 2x6, so it's not super tall. And then we added in soil on top of that. And so we left the original gopher wire cage that goes down about 4 inches with native soil plus bagged soil. And then we added the 2x6 frame, filled that completely, and then planted our dahlia tubers, and look at them. Deep green, thick leaves, thick stems. I mean, look at the stems on these. Literally, it's been 5 years since I've been able to grow dahlias like this. And so I am absolutely thrilled. The only fertilizer they've had is the little bit that we put in the planting holes. I think we put some bone meal in there. I mean, look at the stem on that guy. And then I just foliar fed them some blooming fertilizer. It's low nitrogen, high phosphorus, potassium, so that they will bloom more. But I'm just so pleased. We had a few that didn't come up. Don't care. Don't care. This is going to be wonderful. I pinched more than half of them, so some of them will take a little longer to bloom, but then others, like this one right here, this is a Moran Orange. This guy gonna be open by this weekend when I go to harvest. I'm hoping there will be more of them. Anyway, yeah, this is just, I'm so happy with this. Could not be happier. I'm so glad we did this. Raised bed made all the difference. Now, the sweet peas, doing amazing, and they usually do, but I planted a ton and only a few of them survived because most of them got eaten. They don't mind crappy soil. They'll grow in it. So I just need to keep harvesting these until the powdery mildew sets in. As long as you keep harvesting and you don't let them go to seed, like these right here, they'll keep producing flowers because they're like, oh, I got to reproduce. So the more flowers you cut off and the more seed pods you cut off, the more flowers it will continue to pump out. So I'll probably come out here tomorrow and harvest all of these, clean the whole thing off. And they probably won't still be fresh for the client for pickup on Thursday. But if they are, I'll give them to her. Otherwise, we'll just enjoy them. But mostly I'm going to harvest to keep things going. We still have 2 weeks before our summer CSA session starts. So I want to try to do as much as possible to keep these blooms going. Look at the size of the stem on this. It is really hard to get tall sweet pea stems. You can harvest this whole thing and use it in a beautiful vase arrangement because you get the tendrils and all that, and it's really pretty. So I might do some of that for the client. I might give her some long tendrils. Okay, the mums beds. So the last year we planted these beds out completely with mums. The 2 varieties in the front did not survive, but that's okay. So we planted this year instead Rudbeckia. I don't remember the varieties and it doesn't matter, but they're gonna give us plenty of flowers. And then right here, this is Mountain Mint. This is a perennial and it will continue to produce loads of stems over time. You know, it's slow to get going, but once it's going, and look how healthy the soil is. We are producing tons of mushrooms. That's a good sign that we have really healthy soil right here. Now this bed, I did chunk out a lot of the crappy soil and added more bag soil, but as you can see, there's still a lot of space for me to add more soil. So in the fall, we will top dress around all of these and add more soil to these beds. But this is a perennial bed because down here we have our mums and we did net them this year. Last year I did not. And of course they fall over and then you end up with really wonky stems. So they're looking really good. We are still hopefully a while away from blooms. Usually they come in September and October, but these plants are looking really good. Now there's nothing in the bottom half of these beds. We are shaded enough out here that I don't even know if sunflowers would do well. So I'm trying to decide what to put. I'm going to try to take advantage of this shade and plant some type of perennial in this bottom end here that we can cut on. So because it's good soil, because it's actually all of this, none of this really in this bed is the original soil because we just kind of we just filled it with compost. And where I'm standing right now is going to be another bed. You can see the wire. This is another 40-foot bed, and this will be 100% compost as well. So these will be really lovely soil. I can just add tons of perennials to. And cut from them. The best part about adding a lot of perennials to your flower farm is that the initial investment is high, but once you have them, they just will always be there for you, always pumping out the flowers. It's the things you can count on. When your annuals fail or whatever, you've always got those perennials. So it is really a good investment. Speaking of perennials, this is also a perennial bed. You can see it's Alstroemeria. They love the sun, so they wouldn't do as well. Like I can always put another bed right here, which I might do. I might put another Alstroemeria bed here in lighter colors. This was the only one that was available when there was a sale on these last year. I like red, but you know, they start blooming in early spring. That's just not the color people want in early spring. So I want to get some of the lighter colored ones if I can, the more pastels, because these guys, I've harvested on these probably 5 times and they will not stop. They just keep giving me blooms, which is amazing. We have also got Agastache in here, which migrated. This was back here. I can't even remember what this one is. I planted it, don't remember. Maybe it's a penstemon. I don't know, we'll find out when it blooms. But we've also got yarrow in here too. So this is a perennial bed. It's a messy bed, but I don't mind. I do need to get in here and rogue out some of the horrible thistle weeds. But once I do that, I have to come in every month or so and do that because they are just pernicious. But otherwise, this bed's doing great. Over time, the soil will continue to sink, and because it's a perennial bed, we can't really add that much. But it's a 12-inch tall bed. So right now they have at least 8 inches of soil. Hopefully that will continue to work. Okay, moving on to the veggies. First time this year trying this. I figured we would use this very sloped blank space to pop in some vegetables. Since I can't easily grow pumpkins at home, I don't have the space. This is, gosh, I don't even know which one this is. This is the abominable. And we have a number of fruits on here. I don't know yet if they've been pollinated, but we will find out. I'm so pleased with this. These are the biggest pumpkin plants I've been able to grow in probably 3 years because of our rodent issues. They're looking amazing. Now I did this in an earlier video. I dug a deep hole, put a gopher wire basket in there, planted the seedling in the basket, and then ran irrigation to it. So they are not planted in the native soil because the gophers would undoubtedly eat them. We have lots of gopher activity out here. And then this is the black cat pumpkin. They have tags. That's the reason I just have to look for the tag. This one is mashed potato squash. That's a winter squash. So yeah, they are all looking really good. Now we do have a ton of weeds. So I am about to order a new tool for the farm. I've been putting it off. I bet every time I get served the ad for it, I think about this situation and in between our rows. So we bring our mower out here to take care of a lot of this stuff, but you can't get a standard mower, in between all these plants. So this tool that I'm going to buy is very narrow, and it is a mower, but it's very narrow and very lightweight, and it's battery operated. Okay, if you don't like snakes, look away. This is not a snake. It is a snake skin. How awesome is that? I'm so excited to see that. That's brilliant. That means that we have bigger sized snakes out here going after the rodents. That's really, really cool. And there was no rattle on there. I have no idea what kind of snake it was. Probably just one of our many native snakes. I've seen snakes out here before, but they've been super tiny, like no thicker than a pencil. And I know that they can't take on a mouse. Definitely not a rat. So seeing something that size, woo, that's super exciting. I'm hoping they're living under this tarp. So anyway, sorry for the distraction, but that made me very happy. Okay, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and place that order. The farm can afford it this year, and I think that will make life a lot simpler because I can literally use it to knock down all this stuff. These things will forever come back because they are, especially the poison hemlock, because it's wind pollinated. They are carried on the wind and they grow out here. And so even though they've been knocked down for the season, they will come back. And if I can get a tiny mower machine in between all these plants, then I don't have to try to hand pull these, because that's the only other thing. You cannot hoe these. They have a taproot that goes down 8 to 12 inches. So this is not something you can use a hoe for. These are hand pulled or dug out with shovels. So one of the cool things is, now that we're past our rains, anything without irrigation is going to start to die back and die off. But right around us, right around each of these pockets, there'll be things growing because the little baskets are getting water. Okay, and our corn. I am so thrilled, you guys. Again, It's been 3 years at least since I've been able to grow a beautiful stand of corn. It always gets eaten, destroyed. Now, there's no, once we get ears on here, then we're going to be in trouble because that's going to be hard to keep the rodents from. But I'm thrilled. This looks beautiful. These were direct seeded, I don't know, back in April, mid-April. And they just look so good. I'm so happy. This is a couple different varieties. They all tassel at a different time, so they will not cross-pollinate each other. Yeah, so I'm super, super excited with this. So, row crops. We've got some sunflowers down here. Not all of them germinated. Some are looking a little yellow, but I gave them a bunch of fertilizer. So this row, and this row this year, when we're done with everything, we're going to dig out all the crappy soil and we're going to replace it with fresh compost. So like I talked about, we're going to excavate these out. It's going to be a huge amount of work, but way faster than trying to remediate it over many years. So that's what we're going to do. And we'll just take the soil, because it's just chunks of the native clay soil that we put back in here when we excavated them out. We'll just line them up along the fence side over there. It's not going to hurt anything. And then we will fill these baskets, these gopher basket rows, with fresh compost. The 2 beds of Lisianthus are coming along. They also need more soil, but so this year I'm going to take them out at the end of the year. I won't overwinter them, and we'll do the same thing with these guys. These don't need to be chunked out, because when we made these, we just added compost to start with into the empty baskets. And so we will just top these up because there's a lot of space to do that, many inches we can add. And so we'll do that same treatment for these 3 beds right here. This is Daucus chocolate lace flower. It direct sowed itself from last year. It was in this bed. And then when we pulled it out, it dropped all of its seeds on this bed. So it is already blooming for us. It will give us hundreds of blooms for the rest of the season. This is an amazing plant. But you can see, we've got snapdragons blooming, but they are very, not anemic necessarily. They just are not big and dense and bushy. That is crappy soil. So again, these beds will also be chunked out, and we will add really nice soil to help. So you can tell the difference. So this bed here and that bed there that are full of our grasses, celosia, basil, zinnias, marigolds, those beds, earlier this year, we're getting really low on soil. It was just down to the crappy native soil. So then I added the gypsum, and I added like 4 inches of good quality soil, and you can see the difference. Things are very healthy. They're growing really well. So we will do that to the rest of the farm. This bed, I did all that too up to this point. But this feverfew has been here for almost 2 years now. We will, from right here all the way down, chunk out all the crappy soil, just like we're going to do to these beds, pile it up over there against the fence. It's not going to hurt anything. And then we'll just add good soil to these beds. So yeah, things are looking good. Our asters, we lost quite a few, but the ones that are still there are looking good. And of course the zinnias are already starting to bloom. We have some nice long stems on some of them. I will come in and harvest those for the client on Thursday. And then I'll cut super deep, so they'll look like I did a major chop, but they will then give me longer and longer stems as the season goes on. So we've got a succession here, a succession here. We just planted one in the 8-foot raised bed, and we have another one on the racks in the greenhouse. Final 2 projects, we're not doing these today, but this is coming up in the next week or 2. These 2 beds, the seeded dahlia bed. The dahlias that are growing in here, I started from seed, from floret seed years ago. They're doing great, but we've lost a number of them. And I popped some Baptisia in here. It's doing okay. I'm going to rework this bed, clean it out. It's got some daffodil foliage I'll clean out. And wherever we have a spot, I've got to pull all the weeds around the bed. Wherever we have a spot, I'm going to add something, some kind of perennial. So this bed needs to get taken care of. as does the pollinator patch. So you can see the salvia and the verbena are beautiful. We did have a giant, as big as that, borage right here on the corner that direct sowed itself like borage does all spring. It died back, we cut it down. This one is now unblooming, ready to be cut down. We waited till the bees were done. But I need to come in here, clean this bed up dramatically, and I think I want to try to extend it. Actually, I'm not going to do that. And the reason is irrigation. We already have, this is on the same zone as all of these beds, and we already have not super high pressure. So I'm not going to add to that by taking more. But I do want to come in here because it is on irrigation, but I do want to come in here, clean this all up, cut back the verbena where I can. I'll probably harvest some of those stems for Thursday. Clean all this out, make it look nice and tidy, and then we will plant some new perennials in here. So we've got a lot to do out here over the next couple of weeks, and that's pretty much where we're going to be spending most of our time. Now that we've got the cottage garden buttoned up at home, we just need to focus on getting the farm in shape. So yeah, that's the plan. So stay tuned. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. We also, speaking of more things to do out here, I need to go into both of the beehives. I think they are overpopulated and they have no more room for honey. I think I need to harvest honey and then give them extra supers because I only have 3 boxes right now on my hives and there should be more like 4 or 5. So yeah, it's going to be more busy. Anyway, thanks again for hanging out. I hope you have a wonderful time in your garden and we will see you in the next one. Bye.